Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we will discuss together the revision 15 cases. So the first 10 questions here are somewhat more challenging as I have included a variety of questions from the different sources. So I placed them here to ensure we cover all the ideas presented in ideas presented in them. So don't get overwhelmed by the questions. They're a bit difficult, but no problem. Nothing is too hard for us, right? So the important thing is to understand what the question wants and see what it is. Inshallah. Yalla. Number one, the most critical factor in relation to benchmarking against another organization. Is it A, best practice, B, organization mission, B, leadership strategy, or D, risk assessment?
Best practice.
Yes, it's the best practice. Good. Number two, 50 years old female admitted for hip replacement surgery. It is a must to identify the patient correctly, mark the surgical site correctly, and ensure the x-ray equipment to be present. A near miss, if present, can result of A, equipment check, B, root cause analysis, C, surgery timeout, or D, informed consent.
Cause analysis.
Okay, so when we say informed consent, this is the agreement by the patient. Patient signs before going into any surgical procedure, right? So if the error happened, so they already entered the OR and we did already the proper identification, the surgical site marking. So informed consent should have already been done in the beginning because they would not even enter the OR without it. So that's one thing. So the other thing is, so which is more important? What is in your opinion, Di? Is it informed consent or the timeout?
Timeout.
Oh, very good. Yes, the surgery timeout is more important. Timeout comes after we do a good identification and surgical site marking. So what comes right after is the timeout. So before we or the surgeon will begin the surgical incision. So it's the timeout. Number three, nurse in the post-operative care unit found that a clamp is missed. X-ray done to the patient was negative and the patient had no symptoms. This occurrence is type of A, claim management, B, potentially compensable event, C, error rating, or D, incompetent surgeon. What do you think is the answer? Yeah, it is potentially compensable. Yes, event. So even though we did an X-ray, okay, so the result was negative, right? So the X-ray did not show anything left inside the patient. But the fact that something is missing from the instrument is clear, is a clear proof that it is inside the patient. So whether the X-ray showed positive or negative, it is considered potential compensable event, meaning an action must be taken. So it's a case where a compensation lawsuit could be raised. Number four, concentrated electrolytes medications should be removed from patient care unit to A, prevent medication error, B, check expiration date, C, improve resource utilization, or D, more spacing.
Prevent medication error.
Okay, excellent. This is to prevent medication error because high alert are those where the slightest error in use, either dose or speed or method, this can cause great harm to the patient. So that's why we have classified some other high alert medication like the concentrated electrolyte medications. Okay, so what else? We have the insulin and some narcotics. No, all narcotics rather, all narcotics and controlled drugs.
Potassium permanganate. Potassium.
Yes. Yes.
Gluconate.
Okay. Hmm? Is Abby with us now?
I don't know. Is there?
Okay. Oh, no. No.
Oh, no.
Yes. Number 5. Which of the following is the most useful in performing morbidity and mortality review? A, length of stay. B, patient resuscitation. C, physical profiling. Or D, autopsy.
Patient mortality or morbidity? Morbidity review. Okay.
What?
Patient
Which one?
resuscitation,
Patient resuscitation? No, D.
length of stay.
No. The answer is autopsy. Why? Because because they relate directly to mortality and are based on body dissection. Clear, D? Yes. So number 6, which of the following patient safety goals is applicable to everyone in a healthcare facility? Is it A, handoff communication, B, medication safety, C, hand hygiene, or D, prevention of falls? Numbers.
Everyone in the hospital, prevention of falls.
Prevention of falls? No,
Even
D.
hand hygiene?
Yes, hand hygiene. This is applicable to everyone because it applies to all healthcare workers, not just a specific group. Okay. Number 7, patient receive an overdose of a medication that resulted in death. What should the healthcare quality professional do next? A, report to the facility manager. B, recommend punishment of the faulty caregiver. C, omit further usage of this drug. Or D, initiate root cause analysis.
Initiate root cause analysis, overdose of medication.
Yes, you are right, D. The answer is initiate the root cause analysis. Because, the patient already received patient had an overdosage of the medication. So that resulted to death. So this death is considered a what type of?
Sentinel event.
Very good. Yes, it's a sentinel event. So, what action should follow after that? Is to report to facility manager for punishment or prevent future use of the drug. This institute analysis. So which is to initiate RCA. Yes, we need to investigate. Okay? Tama. Number 8. Number 8. What is this number 8? Why there is no? It's okay. Okay, so in here, it is the type and volume of patients admitted. Okay, the type and volume of patients admitted to treatment at hospital is known as what? Okay, the type of volume of patients admitted to treatment at hospital is known as what?
Daily census.
Case mix, diagnosis related, daily census, patient acuity. Daily census,
Daily census, yes.
No, it's wrong. It's a case mix.
Type and volume.
Yes, a case mix. The meaning of the case mix is this is the type and volume of patients treated at a healthcare facility considering the complexity and severity of their conditions. This also reflects diversity in diagnosis, the procedure, and the resource needed. And also this often used to evaluate the hospital performance or set reimbursement rates. When you say daily census, this is your answers, huh? So the daily census meaning it's the number of patients present in the hospital or a specific unit at a given time each day. So usually it's midnight. So we are counting our daily post midnight for 24 hours. So used to track occupancy and staffing needs. But the answer is case mix. This is the key. Yes, D. Okay. Number 9. To reduce incidence of ventilator-associated pneumonia in ICU, who should be included in quality improvement team? Is it A, ICU nurse with respiratory therapist and incentivist? Or B, pharmacist, nurse manager with the infection control nurse? C, ICU manager, respiratory therapist, and pharmacist? And D, primary care physician and infection control nurse only?
No. ICU nurse, respiratory therapist, and intensivist.
Very good. Yes, this is the answer. ICU manager, ICU nurse, the respiratory therapist, and incentivist. This group represents the primary decision makers in ICU. So other options like the infection control nurse may play a role, but not the main process owners. So these three are the process owners. Okay, excellent. Number 10, which of the following topic should be discussed at Morbidity and Mortality Conference? Is it A, number of nosocomial infection, B, patient morbidity at time of admission, C, preoperative morbidity, or D, number of admission? What's your answer here, D?
Conference.
Mortality conference.
Patient morbidity at the time of admission?
No, D. Which of the following topics should be discussed? Okay, the answer here, D, is letter A. Yes, it's the number of nosocomial infection because it is a recurring indicator that always needs improvement and review. Okay. Number 11, the most common cause of medical error is A, computer services, B, incomplete documentation, C, communications breakdown, or D, non-qualifying nursing.
Medical error.
Medical error? Which one? Yeah, medical error.
Incomplete documentation.
Incomplete documentation.
Or communication breakdown.
Yes, excellent. This is the answer. Communications breakdown. It's the primary and the most frequent cause behind the medical errors is the communication breakdown. For number 12, classifying patient according to acuity means A, severity index, B, medical condition, C, diagnosis related group, or DRG, or D, policy and procedure.
Severity index.
Yes, it's the severity index because the classification is based on severity, not on the diagnosis. So if it was based on diagnosis, it would have been diagnosis group. Okay. So, but there is here about how severe the case is for the acuity. Can be mild, can be moderate, or serious. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Number 13, evidence-based medicine shows that IV antibiotics should be given before surgery to prevent post-operative wound infection. What additional things should be first done to prevent wound infection? A, change clothes every 6 hours. B, hand hygiene compiled. C, good sterilization process. Or D, clean environment.
Good sterilization process.
Good sterilization process? No, D. Evidence-based medicines. Okay, try to understand. Medicine shows that IV antibiotics should be given before surgery to prevent the post-op wound infection. So what additional thing more should be done first to prevent the wound infection is to what is our universal? Yes, hand hygiene. Hand hygiene compiled. Hand hygiene compiled. The hands of healthcare workers are a primary transmission of route for infection, even if instruments are properly sterilized. Okay. Number 14. Comparison of surgical wound infection is an example of A, root cause analysis, B, surgery profiling, C, practitioner credentialing, or D, utilization management.
Comparison.
Comparison. Surgical wound infection is an example. Yes, Steve? Is an example of the surgical profiling because this involves reviewing patterns related to specific procedures. Okay, so unlike the credentialing, Here we have the practitioner credentialing, so which verifies the qualifications and licenses. But since the question is about the comparison of the surgical wound infection, so meaning this is a procedure. So this is an example of a surgery profiling. Number 15. Which of the following is true regarding medical error? A, it's associated with failure of administration process. B, it can be avoided by following the evidence-based practice. Or C, it is prevented by strict leader. Or D, it represents a close gap between patient expectation and practice.
It is associated with the failure of administration process.
No, D. True. What is a true statement about medical error?
Or it is can be avoided by following the evidence-based practice.
Excellently, yes. If the statement used the word prevented, okay, prevented or eliminated, it would be incorrect because evidence-based practices reduce but don't 100% eliminate errors. So this is the true about the medical error. Number 16, preliminary data shows increased medical errors in a unit. What should be initially done? A, review technology and medication. B, close the unit till change finishes. C, ask for advice from other successful units. Or D, analyze the delivery process and effective change. There was a data showing that there's an increase in the medical errors in the unit. So what should be done initially? What should you do? A, B, C, or D?
D, analyze.
Yes. Excellent. You have to analyze the delivery process and the effective change or effective change or system. Why? Because we need to identify the root causes behind the medical errors in the unit. So before taking any action. So options like closing the unit, reviewing the technology, or asking other units may be part of the process later. But first, we must to analyze first the process, and we must analyze what's going wrong internally. Number 17, the most effective method in error reporting is A, provide exchange, B, commission for reporter, C, strict follow-up, or D, made report non-punishment.
Made report non-punishment.
Make report non-made. Yes, this is the correct answer. So meaning no consequences. The best way to encourage the error reporting is to ensure there is no punishment or blame placed on the reporter. Number 18, as a quality manager, to evaluate the effectiveness of dietary department, you should review A, the timelines of the diets delivered after physician's orders. B, the appropriateness of the nurse's request to diet. Or C, the delivery of special diets ordered by physicians. Or D, complications of the whole eternal diet.
Effectiveness is delivery of special diet ordered by physician.
Yes, excellently. Why? Because this is the most comprehensive option, because this includes the timeline, the appropriateness, and the actual delivery process. So the delivery of special diets ordered by physicians. So how you evaluate it is through how the delivery of the special diets. Okay, D. Number 19, a nurse received a verbal order for medication from a physician. The nurse should first A, ask the medication from the pharmacist, B, neglect the order, C, read the order back and follow it, or D, write the order and sign instead of the physician.
Read the order back and follow.
Read back?
The order.
Yes, excellent. So this is the answer. So next, number 20, which of the following is most likely to be a benefit of concurrent ambulatory surgical case review? So A, decreased medical record review at discharge. B, an increase in the number of cases failing screening with exclusion criteria. C, an increase in reviewer competences, or D, decreased employee turnover.
An increase in the number of cases failing screening.
What's your answer here?
B.
Letter B. No. It's not B.
To the benefit of surgical care review. Benefit.
The answer here is letter A. Yes, excellent. Letter A, decreased medical record review at discharge. So in here, because the concurrent review here, when we say concurrent review, this ensures a continuous documentation accuracy. So at discharge, everything is already complete. Yes, decreased medical record review at discharge. Number 21, technical performance refers to how well current scientific medical knowledge and technology are applied in a given situation. It is usually assessed in terms of A, safe care, B, timely effective care, C, the quality of interpersonal relationships, or the responsiveness to patient preferences.
Given situation. Safe care.
Safe care, no D. The answer is timely effective care, because the phrase in a given situation refers to a specific time. Okay, yes, in a specific time. Okay, so this indicates a time sensitive. So the application of knowledge, indicating a time sensitive and application of knowledge and technology. So time effective care is the correct answer to how well current scientific and apply in a given situation is timely effective care. Okay. Number 22. The concept of organization liability is important to the field of healthcare quality because it holds the organization responsible for A, ensuring confidentiality of all documents, B, requiring physician to carry adequate malpractice insurance, C, maintaining a process to identify deficiencies in the provision of care, or D, assuring that peer review physicians have no interest in cases being reviewed. The concept of organization is important to the field of healthcare because it holds the organization responsible for A, B, C, or D.
Ensuring confidentiality of all documents.
Okay, the answer here is letter C, maintaining a process to identify deficiencies in the provision of care. Organizational liability here, okay, this includes the responsibility to monitor processes. Okay, there's a monitor. Monitor processes. Okay. Monitor processes. Detect deficiencies also. And prevent variation to ensure safe, effective, and efficient care. Safe, effective, and efficient care. Okay, number 23, the evaluation of quality and appropriateness of patient care in the radiology department is the responsibility of A, medical director of radiology, B, chief medical officer, C, medical director of quality department, or D, administrator of clinical service.
Medical director of radiology.
Yes. Okay. Since it is department specific, the department's medical director is the responsible party for evaluating the care appropriateness. Number 24, a mental health clinic was having an increasing problem for patients which are not compliance with the appointment for follow-up visit. What effective action should be taken? Is it A, benchmarking the compliance of follow-up appointment with the same kind of facility? B, giving patient a handouts upon discharge detailing the follow-up visit. C, communicate with the patient to remind the follow-up visit. Or D, plan for discharge patient to call 2 days before appointments.
Communicate with the patient to remind the follow-up.
Best action would be what would be the best action here or the effective action?
Communicate with the patient to remind
No,
the follow-up.
no. So the answer here is
Giving handout.
no, D, benchmarking the compliance of follow-up appointment with the same kind of facility. So there will be a direct communication with these mentally ill patients. Okay, so may not be effective, right? So ideally, communication should be with the patient's family. So, but if that option is not provided, then benchmarking with similar facilities is best to identify the working protocols. Okay, number 25. Because all choices here, as you can see, this pertains all directly to the patient, the mentally ill patient. So, but if there's a choice, that a communication should be with the patient's family, then that would be the best answer. But if none, then benchmarking is the second option. Okay? Number 25, to enhance the patient's safety, communication has an important role. The type of communication should be A, closed door, one-way communication, B, open door, two-way communication, C, paper-mediated communication, or D, directive instruction.
Open door, two-way communication.
Excellently. Yes, open door and two-way communication. This ensures the feedback and confirmation from the receiver, okay, to the receiver to
get the effective communication.
And the sender. Okay, so there is two-way process. Okay, so this reduces chances of miscommunication in medication administration. Number 26, all healthcare settings are required to adopt patient safety goals. The following setting has the highest. A, home care setting. B, acute healthcare. C, subacute healthcare. Or D, chronic setting.
Acute healthcare.
The answer is yes. Excellent. This is the answer. So due to the critical and immediate nature of care, so this setting require the highest adherence to the safety goals. Number 27, low medication error rate in a healthcare organization may be due to A, highly developed culture of safety. B, deficient reporting system. C, the staff is reluctant to report due to fear of reprisal. D, the organization failed to adopt a performance improvement approach for error reduction.
The staff is reluctant to report due to fear of reprisal.
So there is a low medication error rate day. So what is the cause of this low medication error rate? Because because there is a highly developed culture of safety. A drop in error rate or not reporting means better system D, improved performance and safety practices. Note, if the question was about decrease in reporting rate, okay, so it would indicate the staff, meaning the staff is fear or lack or proper reporting system. So the staff is having fear. Okay, but since here, low medication rate may be due to what? Because there's a highly developed culture of safety. 28, the incidence of catheter-related nosocomial urinary tract infection is A, structure measure, B, outcome measure, C, process measure, or D, performance measure.
Process measure.
No, D. Incidence. It's an incidence.
Incidence, outcome measure.
Yes, exactly. So outcome measure because it's an incidence. So this refers to the number of new cases, which is an outcome reflecting the result. Okay, this is a result. An incidence is a result, or an outcome is a result. Okay, clear D? Any question? Yeah, 29. Why do the uses of evidence-based medicine improve patient safety? Why do the uses of evidence-based medicine improve patient safety? Is it A, patient's care is based on expert opinion and scientific researches? B, it will prevent the inappropriate use of certain procedure. C, it will replace clinical decisions making. D, it will help providers to avoid cookbook medicine practices.
Patient's care is based on expert opinion and scientific researches.
Excellently, yes. Okay, this is the correct answer. So in here, evidence-based practice combines the expert knowledge and the research data to guide the proper decision making. So note in here, the word cookbook medicine. Usually this refers to guidelines based standardization. So it is not something to be avoided. Okay. So care here is based on the expert opinion and scientific research. Number 30, the most important patient safety issue to a utilization reviewer. Again, the most important patient safety issue to a utilization reviewer is A, timelines of treatment, B, medical necessity for treatment, C, correct assignment of diagnosis or procedure code, or D, appropriateness of the organization.
Timelines of treatment?
No, D. No. The answer here is letter correct assignment D of diagnosis or procedure code. Yeah, evaluation focuses on medical necessity and appropriateness of services, not the organization itself. So correct assignment of diagnosis or procedure code is the most important patient safety issue regarding to utilization reviewer. 31. Filter case, okay. Medication reconciliation is A, the reconciliation of duplicated dosage, frequency, and discrepancies at the ICU only. B, the resolutions of medication discrepancies in dose, frequency, and therapeutic duplication at time of discharge. C, the reconciliation of medications throughout the patient's hospital stay. Or D, the clarification of patient's medications to the relatives at time of discharge.
This is C, the reconciliation of medication throughout
Excellent.
the.
Yeah, throughout patient hospital stay, meaning medication reconciliation is essential during every care transition. So what are those transition? So during admission, okay,
And
during the transfer and discharge, okay. Number 32. To ensure the safety of medication administration, the steps of administration should be A, more complex, B, more branch, C, more simple, D, more dependent on experience of staff. It should be more simple. Yes. Yes, it should be more simple because a simplified processes, this reduce variability and risk of errors during medication administration. Okay. Number 33, the most common source of errors in diabetes care is A, physician, B, nurse, C, pharmacist, D, patient.
Source of errors in diabetic care, maybe patients.
And not maybe, but you are correct. Excellent. Patient. In chronic diseases like diabetes D and hypertension, the patient always plays a major role. So a lack of compliance or self-management often leads to error. So making patient the most common source of errors. Number 34. Patient-centered organizations are those who A, focus on cost containment, B, focus on avoiding illogical lawsuits, C, focus on who is to blame, D, offer more education, allow the patients to demonstrate what they know.
Yes, D, offer more education, allow.
Okay, excellent, D. Excellent. Okay, PSOs or the patient-centered organization primarily work to analyze and understand the root causes of incidents to improve patient safety. Number 35, development of a cefazolin sodium associated rash in a patient with a known allergy to cephalosporins is A, potential adverse drug event, B, preventable adverse drug event, C, non-preventable adverse drug event, or D, health risk appraisal.
Preventable adverse drug event.
Excellent, because the allergy was already known. So, and it could have been avoided by reviewing the patient's allergy history. 36. What are the two types of patient safety indicators or PSIs? A, pediatric and prevention. B, inpatient and pediatric. Letter C, provider and area. D, safety and quality.
Safety, patient safety and quality.
No, D. No, the two types of patient safety indicator is provider and the area level indicators. These two are indicators. So these are the two official categories for patient safety indicators. Those that assess provider level performance and those that assess area-wide health outcomes. So when you see the PSIs, always these two indicators are the two official categories, the provider and the area. Number 37, what is true regarding patient safety indicators? Is it A, PSIs require manual data collection? Or B, PSIs are screening tools? C, PSIs focus on outpatient care? Or D, PSIs are tools used to monitor patients while they are in the hospital?
When they are in the hospital.
Another answer, D? The answer D is letter B. So it's our screening tools. Patient safety indicators are tools. Focus on both the inpatient, and the outpatient care settings. So incorrect to say that they're only for one or the other. So the correct classification would be tool. Okay, so PSIs are screening tools. Number 38. Identify the data element that is not used to calculate PSIs. Identify the data element that is not used to calculate the patient safety indicators. Is it A, age, B, gender, C, lab results, or the ICD-10 procedure codes?
Not used.
Not used. Letter?
D, ICD-10.
ICD-10? No, this is included, D.
Not used in patient safety indicators.
It's the lab results, D. So although useful clinically, okay, but lab values are not a primary component in most standardized patient safety indicator formulas compared to the age, the gender, and diagnosis codes. Okay, which is not included is the lab results. 39, patient safety indicators are not useful for A, credentialing of practitioners, B, monitoring safety, C, reporting to a senior management team, or D, comparing performance to external standards.
Credentialing of practitioners.
Excellent. PSIs are used for monitoring and improvement, but not for validating individual professional credentials. So 40, measurement of effectiveness of a seminar delivered to the staff on new methods for training asthmatic patients to use metered dose inhaler is best done by, again, measurement of effectiveness of a seminar delivered to the staff on new methods for training asthmatic patients to use metered dose inhaler is best done by A, satisfaction survey for the trainees, B, tracking number of attendees, C, incidence and severity of acute exacerbation, and D, a satisfaction survey for the patients. What you will assess? It is best done by
survey for the patients.
No, D. The correct answer here is incidence and severity of acute exacerbation, because this reflects the bearing or the impact of the training on actual patient outcomes. So if patients continue to experience these frequent exacerbations, okay, so the training was likely ineffective. Okay. Again, I will this is best done to assess the incidence and severity of acute exacerbation, because this reflects the bearing or the impact of the training given on the actual patient outcomes. So if the patient continue to experience the frequent exacerbations, so the training was likely ineffective. Okay, clear there? 41, identify the first component of getting started with patient safety indicators. Identify the first component of getting started with PSIs. A, patient safety program evaluation. B, medical records, coding. C, learning about PSIs. Or D, having information technology.
Learning about PSI.
Yes, learning about PSIs. Before applying interventions, the staff must understand, learn, and analyze these indicators. So this is the foundational step, is to learn about the patient safety indicators. 42, actual patient safety indicators rates for hospitals may be compared to A, publicly reported state averages, B, the AHRQ empirical rate. C, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services comparative data. And D, Joint Commission on Accreditation of Healthcare Organizations core measure comparative data.
The Joint Commission?
This one, acute patient safety indicators, is
Joint Commission.
compared to the AHRQ empirical rate. The Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality sets the national benchmark and quality indicator bases used for comparison. When you see this AHRQ empirical rate, the alatul, this one is about the actual patient safety indicators because they set the national benchmark and the quality indicator also. Okay, 43, wrong surgical site is considered a sentinel event. This event must be followed by A, root cause analysis, B, blame and punishment, C, strict education program for the staff, and D, reporting to the facility leader.
Root cause analysis.
Yes, it's a root cause analysis. In a surgical event, it must be thoroughly analyzed to understand the contributing factors that prevents a future recurrence. Number 44, the current patient safety indicators were not developed based on A, literature review, B, clinical panels and coding expertise, C, empirical analysis, or D, population survey. Not. The clue word here is not. Answer is?
Population survey.
Excellent. The population survey. While PSIs are based on research and expert analysis, they were not specifically designed from direct patient-conducted studies. Number 45, to develop a culture of safety, it is first to A, make it safe to make mistakes. B, establish a punitive reporting system. C, blame is enough. And D, focus efforts on individuals rather than system.
Establish a punitive reporting system.
No, D. To develop a culture of safety, what you will do as your first action or step is to make it safe to make mistakes. Meaning the first cultural shift, okay, cultural shift, meaning is to accept that errors can happen and must be reported without fear, okay, without fear to improve the system. Okay, number 46. Which of the following can be instituted in order to make it easy for surgeons to do the right thing and hard to do the wrong thing? Which of the following can be instituted in order to make it easy for surgeons to do the right thing and hard to do the wrong thing? Is it A, specialty specific preoperative antibiotic order sheets were device? B, antibiotics are initiated in the holding room before the patient enters the operating room. C, visual cues were placed on the anesthesia record to remind the anesthesiologist to administer the antibiotics. Or D, preoperative antibiotics are ordered when appropriate by the perioperative medical director.
Make it easy.
Okay, it's letter C, the excellent. So visual cues were placed on the anesthesia record to remind the anesthesiologist to administer the antibiotics. So visual cue, so a visual signal helps to reinforce proper behavior at the point of care. So this reduces also the risk of
infection.
of omission.
Omissions.
47. Staff becomes supportive of the initiative when the initiative was linked to A. Staff financial incentives, B. Regulatory requirements, C. Patient risk reduction, or D. Disciplinary action.
Patient risk reduction.
No.
No, this
Staff becomes supportive of the initiative when the initiative was linked to, there is already keyword here, was linked to staff financial incentive, meaning direct personal or financial motivation. Because when we say initiative or incentives rather, this is a financial motivation. Because once you are given with incentive, then of course we are so motivated to work well, right? So financial motivation is a strong driver for staff engagement with safety initiatives. Okay, 48. Failure-free operation every time is the definition of failure-free operation every time is the definition of A, effectiveness, B, timelines, C, reliability, or D, safety.
Every time safety.
The keyword here is every time.
Yeah, effectiveness.
No, D.
Safety.
The answer here is reliability. The key is the phrase every time. So which implies reproducibility. Reproducibility. So every time there is a reproduction, there will be a consistent result. So it means that it is reliable. So the process is reliable, which gives the same outcome when repeated. Okay? So there is a consistency. So consistency means reliability. Consistency is equals to reliability. Okay. Is Abby with us? No. So only you and me. Okay, 49. Medical errors are A, avoided by uniform practice, B, prevented by reviewing evidence-based practice, C, cause gaps between patient expectations and practice, and D, associated with process failure. Medical errors. Sorry, D?
Avoided by uniform practice. No. It is caused in patient expectation associated. Second, prevented by reviewed evidence-based practice.
No, D.
No.
It's letter? Letter D. Associated with the process failure, medical errors are not necessarily patient caused. They are also linked to process failure. Okay, number 50. On discharge, the patient refuses billing because Z out of 3 days of his stay in the hospital is due to medication anaphylaxis. So this occurrence is A, billing error, B, potentially compensable, C, nurse incompetence, or D, admission error.
Potentially compensable.
Yes, same also. Potentially compensable event. Number 51, which of the following is the best approach when implementing a national patient safety goal related to identifying potential errors in a patient's care, treatment, and services? A, providing the patient and family an opportunity to ask questions. B, having the patient provide return demonstration of the knowledge provided. C, showing a video to a patient and their family. D, giving both written and verbal instructions to a patient and family. Keyword here is the National Patient Safety Goal. A, B, C, or D?
Providing the patient and family an opportunity to ask questions. Treatment.
No, D.
Then written demonstration.
No, D.
Okay.
The answer here is letter D, giving both written and verbal instructions to a patient and family. Given both of these written and verbal instructions, because it's specifically referring to the National Patient Safety Goal, or our IPSG, which includes communication and patient communication and patient understanding. Patient understanding. So if the question, if did not mention the national goal without this D, the correct answer would be the demonstration, the return demonstration, which is the letter B. So where the patients will show an understanding. But since our statement here, or the question, has these words, the IPSG or the National Patient Safety Goal, then the answer will be both written and verbal instructions to a family or to a patient. Okay, D? If without D, what you'll answer?
Written demonstration.
Yes, if with, so this both two will be given to the patient. Okay, 52. The physician asked his nurse to cancel the previously requested ECG for a patient. The nurse forgot to record this cancellation. On the next day, during the physician round, he found that the patient died last night. The physician checked with his nurse the cancellation. He found no documentation about it. What should the physician do first? A, do nothing, since the cancellation was not the cause of death. B, ask the nurse to go to the medical record filing room and write the cancellation in. C, add an addendum to the record that the ECG had been cancelled. Or D, get angry and punish the nurse. Yes, D? Quite crucial, right? Because of forgotten, neglected by the nurse to do the cancellation. So what should we do? What should the physician do first? Is to add an addendum to the record that the ECG had been cancelled. So this is the correct response for late documentation. So during in our nurses notes, we do the late entry, or we also write addendum, meaning there to document a late order or late nursing actions. So in such cases, so we can add the addendum or late entry. 53. In a culture of patient safety, the most appropriate surveillance to assess the infection rate within the hospital is A, total house surveillance, B, targeted surveillance, C, community surveillance, or D, prioritized surveillance.
Targeted surveillance or
Excellent. Yes, it's the targeted surveillance. This has replaced the total hospital-wide surveillance due to its focused and practical approach. Focused meaning targeted. Okay, so you just have to target or focus to a survey that you want to assess. So in here, to survey the infection rate. So it's targeted because only the infection rate will be the focus. Number 54, patient care scenario carries the potential risk for error is known as A, adverse event, B, sentinel event, C, near miss, D, incident report. Patient care scenario carries the potential risk for error is known as A, B, C, or D? Potential risk for error.
Incident report.
No, D. Potential risk.
Potential risk
Again, for error.
near
Near miss, yes. Known as near miss, a situation where an error could have occurred but was avoided. So no harm happened yet. 55, the system that classifies people into homogeneous groups, either by disease, diagnostic, what is this? Either by disease, diagnosis, therapeutic procedures performed, method of payment, duration of hospitalization, or intensity and type of services provided. So this system means A, demand management, B, disease management, C, utilization management, or D, case mix. That classifies people into homogeneous group.
case mix.
Excellent. It's a case mix because this refers to grouping based on a specific criteria like diagnosis, procedures, length of stay, or intensity of service. 56. Medication error rates are considered an indicator of which of the following parameters? A, finance, B, patients, C, clinical process, D, learning.
Clinical process.
It's clinical process. Indicators, this indicates or reflects decision within the clinical workflows. Okay. 57, measuring morbidity and mortality is considered A, administrative data, B, support data, C, managerial data, or D, clinical data.
Clinical data.
Excellent. 58, which of the following are the primary reason for developing drug formularies? A, manage pharmacy costs and promotes patient safety. B, reduce medication errors and educate physicians. B, encourage the appropriate use of medications, minimize inventory. Or D, decrease food-drug interaction and improve patient satisfaction. A, B, C, or D?
Great use of medication.
It's letter no, D. Primary reason for developing drug formularies is to manage pharmacy costs and promotes patient safety is the answer D. Number 59, a patient was taught how to self-administer insulin. Which of the following is the best method to assess patients' understanding of the teaching? A, return demonstration. B, patient satisfaction survey. C, family's ability to verbalize instructions. Or D, written pre and post tests.
That demonstration.
Yes, return demonstration because national safety goal, national patient safety goal is not here in the question. So return demonstration is the correct answer. 60. The most cost-effective opportunity to enhance patient safety is to A, discover new safe therapies, B, hire more competent staff, C, discover how to deliver therapies that are known to be effective, or D, do not accept patients with known liability to complication.
Cost-effective.
Most cost-effective opportunity to enhance patient safety is to A, B, C, or D?
C.
Letter C? Excellent. Okay, focus on effectiveness of care. So, of care delivery processes. Number 61, a psychiatric hospital is reporting a significant level of patient aggression. As a quality professional, the appropriate action you may take is A, generate a policy of restraining all patients. B, switch from physical to chemical restraints. C, adopt a restraint-free policy. And D, to make a system of early identification of patient characteristics which may be indicative of aggression.
D, to make a system of early identification of patient characteristics which may be indicative of aggression.
Excellent. Yes, that's the correct answer. So for patient behaviors that may indicate any aggression. Okay, 62. Prevention quality indicators are used in a monitoring of mortality rates for medical and surgical patients. B, identifying avoidable admissions. C, identifying preventable complications and iatrogenic events for pediatric patients. Or D, identifying potentially avoidable complications. Prevention quality indicators
Identify
are used.
preventable complications.
Identifying no D.
Potentially avoidable. No?
Identifying avoidable admissions, especially those that reflect a poor outcome, outpatient care. So this prevention quality indicators are used in identifying avoidable admission, because especially to those that reflect poor outpatient care. So you have to identify to avoid admission. Any question, D? 62? 63. Indicators designed to identify potentially avoidable complications are A, prevention quality indicators, B, inpatient quality indicators, C, patient safety indicators, or D, pediatric quality indicators. To identify potentially avoidable complications is A, B, C, or D?
Preventable, avoidable complication. Patient safety indicators.
Excellent. Yes, that's correct answer. 64. Clinical outcomes of medication reconciliation include decreased A, hospital readmissions, costs, and medication errors. B, hospital readmissions with cost and discharge medication orders. C, cost with confusion over medications and hospital staff satisfaction. And D, patient satisfaction, confusion, and over medications and cost. Clinical outcomes of medication reconciliation include decreased
hospital admission cost and medical application errors. Yes, 1.
Yes. Excellent. Aywa. That's the answer. Number 60. So when we say medication reconciliation is a process used to ensure accuracy in patients' medication information during the transition of care, like admission, transfer, and discharge. 65. Determining what medications are to be taken at home is the responsibility of the A, patient, B, physician, C, patient's family, or D, bedside nurse.
Physician.
A kid, physician. Number 66, patient safety incident is A, any unintended event caused by the healthcare that either did or could have led to patient harm. B, tool designed to elicit information from patient regarding certain activities and behaviors that can influence them. C, making the member an active participant in choosing the source of care. And D, examining claims for mistakes. Patient safety incident.
Event caused by the healthcare that either did or could have.
Excellent. So this includes events that actually happened or could have happened, meaning near miss. Yes.
To harm.
Excellent. 67. The best strategy for preventing errors that cause harm is A, focus on who hold accountable to the harm. B, provide a system of care in which patients are well protected. C, refuse admission of patients prone to complications. And D, make the family responsible for safety of the patient.
Provide a system of care in which patients are well protected.
Excellent, excellent. MashaAllah. 68. The magnitude of benefit of information technology is greater in pediatrics than in adult medicine due to A, the pediatricians are less competent. B, the variability in children is more than adults. C, the liability for claims is more in pediatric settings. And D, need for weight-based dosing. Mm-hmm. Magnitude. The magnitude. Yes, D. What's your answer? Letter D?
D.
Yes, excellent. Need for weight-based dosing. Children requires a precise weight-adjusted medication. So that's increasing the risk if data entry is wrong. Excellent. An order written for salbutamol inhaler without specifying a frequency is A, preventable adverse reaction, B, medication error, C, non-preventable adverse drug event, or D, potential adverse drug event. An order written for salbutamol inhaler. It's letter?
Written for medication error. Salbutamol inhaler without specifying. Yes, it is
without
error.
Aywa, excellent. It's a medication error. So lack of complete prescription data qualifies as a medication error. 70, hand washing is an important aspect in infection control and improvement of patient safety. The following may increase infection rates. A, use of alcohol-based hand rubs. B, surgical hand as antiseptics. C, use of artificial nails. And D, natural nails tips limited to 24-inch.
Use of alcohol-based hand rub.
Use of alcohol-based hand rubs. No, D.
No.
This may increase.
Increase infection.
Yeah, increase infection rates. Is it A, B, C, or D?
This one, natural tips limited to what is
no, D. The answer is
artificial nails.
Yes, use of artificial nails because they harbor microorganisms and increase the infection risk. Number 71, one of the following cannot help the idea of elimination of medical errors. One of the following cannot help the idea of elimination of medical errors. Is it A, understand the underlying cause of errors, B, learn from reported errors, C, eliminate conditions that contribute to preventable adverse events, and D, focus on staff producing errors and punish them?
Focus on staff producing errors and punish the help.
Excellent. So options included things like understanding root causes and learning from previous errors. So in here, all listed actions support error identification. It forced to choose. So the one not directly tied to error identification would be disqualified. So letter D is the answer. Okay. Number 72. As a quality professional, to eliminate the misreading of prescriptions, the appropriate action is A, make oral communications between the physicians and the pharmacist. B, make prescriptions done by electronic means. C, give training to the physicians to improve the writing behavior. D, make penalties on both physicians and pharmacists when prescription error occur.
Electronic prescription.
Prescription, yes, it's letter B. Okay, eliminates handwriting interpretation altogether. Okay, 73. Sources of information that may enhance Patient safety do not include A, internal risk screening, B, patient safety standards, C, recommendations following analysis of sentinel events, and D, commitment of the leader.
Internal risk screening.
Sources of information that may enhance patient safety do not include A, B, C, or D. It's not a source of patient safety program data. Which one?
Commitment of leader.
It's the commitment of the leader. Yes, okay. So it is not a data source for safety analysis because the letter D, this is not a source of information, though it is certainly important for patient safety. But it's not the answer. So leadership commitment is essential for creating a safety culture. It is not source of information. Number 74, a patient in acute psychiatric unit committed suicide by hanging himself with his shoelace. To prevent this from occurring again, the most appropriate action is to institute a patient shoes lace every 30 minutes. B, policy allowing only non-laced shoes. C, 24-hour video monitoring system. Or D, a buddy system for the patients.
Policy.
Yes.
Only non-laced shoes.
Yes, D. Excellent. Number 75. Analysis of incidents, errors, and near-miss reports result in enhanced patient safety by A, reducing risk and obtaining informed consent, B, obtaining informed consent and recognizing human errors, C, recognizing human errors and improving system, or D, improving systems and reducing risk. How does analyzing interest, errors, and nurse reports results improve patient safety by A, B, C, or D?
D.
Yes, it's letter D, improving system and reducing risk. So the focus is on the system change, not the individual blame. Number 76, which of the following monitors provide patient outcome information? A, nosocomial infection rate. B, degree of compliance with nursing care documentation. C, degree of compliance with renewal of antibiotics therapy. And D, equipment malfunction rate.
The following is provide patient outcome information. Nosocomial infection rate.
Excellently. Okay, 77. The most effective way to ensure patient safety as a dimension of performance is to A, sponsor a hotline for reporting problems. B, have leaders who commit to and foster a safe culture. C, focus on processes and minimize individual blame. D, encourage patients and families to identify risk.
Focus on process and minimize individual blame.
Again, the most effective way
Effective.
to ensure patient safety as a dimension of performance is to A, B, C, or D? Letter
B.
Excellent. It's letter B. Have leaders who commit to and foster a safe culture. Number 78. So in here, okay, so data collected about surgical cases shows significant delays. Further analysis shows the following chart. So before reading that, so you just have to see and analyze the data set given here, displaying in the graph. So in here, okay. So what is your analysis of the graph here? What is your interpretation here?
Number of delays and both separately, nurse not ready, staff surgeon not available. The highest rate is staff surgeon not available.
Okay. So the chart shows that the staff surgeon not available is the leading cause of delays, right? Because it reached to 65. However, it doesn't specify which surgeons or how often each one is involved. So before taking into a broader action, a healthcare quality professional would first want to um okay, would first want to what in here? Data collected about the surgical cases show significant delays. So which of the following should the healthcare quality professional do? So is it A, to provide the surgical service chief with further analysis of surgeon specific data, or B, ask the nurse manager to write a memo encouraging promptness, or C, form a multidisciplinary team to develop recommendations for improvement, or D, perform a focused professional practice evaluation or FPPE on every surgeon. So a data-driven approach is essential before forming a teams or initiating system-wide charges. So giving the service chief detailed, actionable data empowers leadership to what? To engage the right individuals, to make evidence-based decision, and possibly avoid unnecessary system-wide disruption. So in here, so what will be your best initial action then? Because you have seen that there is already a staff surgeon who has a high number of delays. So what would be your initial action?
From a focused professional practice evaluation.
Letter? It's letter?
D?
No D. Okay, the answer here is letter A, provide the service chief with further analysis of surgeon-specific data. The chart shows that staff surgeon is not available, is the leading cause of delays. However, it doesn't specify which surgeons or how often each one is involved because it is stated in a general term. Okay, so the answer is letter A, while option C here and others, letter C focus on a team-based response. So while for the option A, this prioritizes the targeted analysis, which is often the most appropriate first step, is to target with further analysis. When one group or this surgeon is clearly the primary contributions to delays. Okay. Yes, so this is the answer. Is it clear, D?
Okay.
Number 79. One of the best ways for a patient safety program to be effective is to provide anonymity in root cause analysis, B, individual case review, C, occurrence or incident reporting, or D, decision malting.
Occurrence variance report.
Yes, letter C. 80. A child is experiencing repeated asthma attacks in his school. Arrangements are made for him to be seen at the clinic. The physician utilized a tailored approach for treatment of the childhood asthma based on the best practice guidelines. Such descriptions for specific clinical conditions are best known as A, standards of practice, B, clinical practice guidelines, C, clinical process policies, or the clinical pathways.
Clinical pathways?
Yes, it's clinical practice guidelines. CPGD, clinical practice guidelines. The physician applied a best practice guideline in the treatment of the asthmatic. So the appropriate term is clinical practice guideline. The key to reliable, safe environment of patient care does not lie in exhorting individuals to be more careful and try harder. It lies in A, hiring high professionals for sensitive positions, B, high alert leaders and managers, C, learning about causes of error and designing systems to prevent human error whenever possible, or D, strict staff bylaws.
Learning about cause of error and designing system to prevent human error.
Excellent, D. Yes. Reliable safety depends not on individual effort, but on system design to prevent human error. 82. The first step in creating a culture of safety is A, change old-fashioned employee to modern ones. B, rephrase the old belief and replace new one. C, use of personal protective equipment. D, assess the readiness of the organization to implement healthcare safety practices.
Assess the readiness of organization implement.
Excellent. Change begins with needs assessment within the organization. 83, medical record documentation to be benefit for cost analysis and appropriateness. What type of process review to use? A, retrospective, B, prospective, C, clinical data, D, administration claims.
What prospective?
It's prospective. Cost benefit analysis is done in advance. So prospective review is the correct. 84, for preparing a clinical pathway, who should be available? A, staff education. B, case management leader. C, governing body. D, physician.
Physician.
Okay, it's physician. Excellent. 85, an increase in the mortality rate of patients undergoing cesarean section was detected. The collected data revealed that the increased rate returns to one gynecologist. Assessment of his performance was recommended. Who in this case is responsible for analyzing the collected data regarding the targeted gynecologist performance? Is it A, the peer review committee, B, the quality professional, C, a medical staff committee, or D, the head of the gynecology department?
Peer review.
It's peer review. Excellent, D. It's a peer review. A peer review committee, this includes department heads and others, making it the most suitable body to analyze such cases. 86, the best word explaining empowerment. Is it A, upward mobility, B, mutual trust, C, open discussion but the leader perform all important tasks, or D, delegate task?
Empowerment.
When we say empowerment, this gives autonomy. This gives skills and resources. Okay, which, yes, it's a delegate task. Delegate task is the correct answer. Okay. '87, fair and just culture is characterized by A, no blame, B, reporting is limited only to medical errors, C, focus on individuals, D, zero tolerance for reckless behavior.
No blame.
No, D. Fair and just culture is
zero tolerance and reckless.
Excellent, yes. It's a zero tolerance for reckless behavior. In just culture, there is no blame, but also no tolerance for recklessness. If these two are here, like our options here, the best answer is zero tolerance for reckless behavior. 88, high reporting of medical errors and near miss is a mirror of A, defective quality of care, B, feeling protected by a non-punitive culture of medical errors reporting, C, sophisticated system, or D, conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest.
High reporting of medical errors and near miss is a
Feeling
mirror.
protected by non-punitive culture.
Excellently. Staff feel safe and unafraid to report due to the system in place. It has zero tolerance for reckless behavior. The meaning of just culture. Okay. 89. Which of the following do not share in creating and sustaining a culture of safety? A. Leadership structure. B. Performance measurement. C. Risk management. Or D. Computerized system.
Computerized system.
Mumtaz. Okay. A computerized system supports but doesn't directly create a safety structure. 90. Joint Commission empowers customers by providing education materials as navigational aids for complex healthcare systems like A. Dimensions of quality, B. Deming's points of quality revolution, C. Patient safety goals, and D. The Speak Up campaign.
Safety goals.
Again, JCI empowers.
They
Empowers customers by providing education materials. So is it no D?
Then patient safety goals.
No D. The Speak Up campaign is the answer here. The Safe Culture campaign by JCI aimed to involve patients in healthcare decisions. It's okay. So the Speak Up campaign is launched by JCI specifically to educate and empower customers and patients. This is also to encourage to ask questions. Okay, speak up about concerns and become active participants in their care. So this campaign uses educational materials like brochures, posters, and videos to navigate the complex healthcare system more safely and confidentially. You answered dimension of quality. So these are theoretical frameworks like the dimension of quality we have the STIPs, the effectiveness, efficiency, equity, and others. So it is used internally in healthcare quality, not patient-facing tools. Patient safety goal is wrong. This is also important. But these are primarily for healthcare professionals to guide safe practices, not direct educational tools for customers or patients. Clear, Dave? Okay. JCI, when you see or read the JCI empowers customers, ala tool, the answer, the Speak Up campaign. Okay. 91, underuse is evidenced by the fact that many scientifically sound practices are not used as often they should be. For example, biannual mammography screening in women ages above 40 years old has been proven beneficial and yet is performed less than 75% of the time. This is the categorization of A, defects, B, lack of professionalism in medical field, C, lack of care, D, healthcare practice. Underuse is the clue word here. Is evidenced by the fact that many scientifically sound practices are not used as often as they should be. Underuse. A, B, C, or D?
Defects.
Defects, no D. The answer here is lack of care. Underuse indicates that essential recommended care is not being delivered. So this is lack of care. Okay, number 92. What is the term applied when the proper clinical care process is not executed appropriately, such as giving the wrong drug to a patient or incorrectly administering the correct drug? Is it A, underuse, B, overuse, C, misuse, D, illegal use?
Misuse.
Misuse. Excellently. Okay. Wrong execution of a correct plan is called misuse. 93. Crossing the quality chasm provided a blueprint for the future that classified and unified the component of quality through 6 aims for improvement, chain of effects, and simple rules for redesign of healthcare. The 6 aims for improvement, viewed also as 6 dimensions of quality. Which of the following is not one of those dimensions? Is it A, safe, B, care-centered, C, efficient, D, effective? Not. This is the clue word. Not one of those dimensions. Is
Care-centered?
B? Yes, it's the care-centered. The correct term is patient-centered, not care-centered. Okay? Recall. So 94, blank can be measured by how well evidence-based practices are followed, such as the percentage of time diabetic patients receive all recommended care at each doctor visit, the percentage of hospital-acquired infections, or the percentage of patients who develop pressure ulcers while in the nursing home. Is it A, safe care, B, equitable care, C, effective care, D, timely care?
Timely care?
No, D. Blank can be measured by how well evidence-based practice are followed, such as the percentage of time. It is?
Effective care.
Yes, it's an effective care. So following evidence-based guidelines reflects the effectiveness of care. Okay. 95. 3 new patient safety initiatives were published. A CPHQ should first A, determine if it's applicable to the organization. B, collect data. C, implement them as soon as possible. D, implement only the cheapest initiative. 3 new patient safety initiatives were published. So as a CPHQ professional, what should you do first? Is to
find the application for.
Yes, it's to determine if it's applicable to the organization. So ensure alignment with the strategic goals before the implementation. So 96, in an intensive care unit at Dominican Hospital, physicians used to replace ventilator circuits for incubated patients daily because they thought this helped to prevent pneumonia. But the evidence shows that the more you interfere with that device, the more often you risk introducing infection. It turns out it is often better to leave it alone until it begins to become cloudy. The hospital staff learned an important lesson from this experience that A, evidence is more powerful than intuition. B, intuition is more powerful than evidence. C, efforts improve mortality rate. The introduction of a new protocol or any new idea involves education.
Introduction of a new protocol or any new idea?
No, D.
No.
Here
the ways it is more often risk confusing. Often better to leave developments.
Yes.
Efforts improve. I don't know. The hospital start land by important.
Okay. Answer here is evidence is more powerful than intuition. So clinical decisions should be based on evidence, not assumption. Okay. Number 97. A number of attributes can characterize the quality of healthcare services, as there are different groups involved in healthcare, such as physicians, patients, and health insurers, tend to attack different levels of important to particular attributes, and as a result, define quality care differently. Which of the following is not out of these attributes? Is it A, technical performance, B, responsiveness to patient preferences, C, excess staff, D, amenities? Not, huh? Which is not out of those attributes.
Amenities?
Amenities, no. The answer is excess staff. So technical performance, responsiveness, amenities matter more to patients than the staff satisfaction. So the excess staff is the question asking which is not considered an attribute that characterize. So the technical performance, responsiveness, and amenities are all attributes that characterize the quality in healthcare services, okay? Except for excess staff. This is not a quality attribute. It's more about resource management or cost efficiency. So too many staff could even indicate inefficiency. Okay, so this stands out as not fitting among the core quality dimensions. Okay, 98. One fundamental difference between monitoring product quality and service quality is based upon the fact that A, a service is easier to measure and verify in advance. B, a service is not perishable. C, a service is more heterogeneous than a product. D, there are more service delays than product delays. So one fundamental differences between monitoring product quality and service quality is based on what? A, B, C, or D? Letter?
C.
Letter C. Yes, excellent. Services vary more than products, making quality monitoring harder. Okay, so services are more heterogeneous than a product. Between products and services. Okay. 99, a potential conflict between the philosophy of total quality management or TQM and quality improvement QI in healthcare is the challenge in Deming's principle to A, eliminate numerical goals for management, B, cease dependence on inspection, C, constantly improve every process, or D, break down barriers between staff areas, departments. A potential conflict between the philosophy of TQM and QI in healthcare. Is it A, B, or C, or D? The answer here is eliminate.
D, eliminate numerical goals.
Yes, D. It's letter A, eliminate numerical goals for management. Okay, in this question focuses on the potential conflict. So how the quality improvement is often practiced in healthcare. Because going back to the Deming's principle, Deming argued against the arbitrary numerical targets like the quotas, benchmarks, or unrealistic KPIs, saying that often shift a focus away from the process improvement. And also this leads to shortcuts or data manipulation and do not address the root causes of issues. So why these conflicts in healthcare exist? Healthcare organizations frequently rely on the quantitative goals like the reduced infection rates by X% or patient wait times under Y minutes. So, okay, so eliminate the numerical goals for management. This is the potential between the philosophy of TQM and QI because of the numerical goals for management. Number 100. In order to build a patient-centered culture, the quality professional knows A, the main requirement is patient commitment. B, a mandate for staff involvement is required. C, comprehensive culture change is required. And D, access to information is most important.
Access to information.
No D.
Patient commitment.
La. In order to build a patient-centered culture, the quality professional knows A, B, C, or D. The answer is comprehensive culture change is required. Understanding and promoting cultural shift to patient-centeredness is the key. Okay. 101, resurgery for missed surgical gauze. In absence of incident report, the only proof is A1, physician disclosure. 2, peer review. 3, patient complaint. 4, patient claim.
Peer review.
Yes, it's peer review. Okay, peer review can evaluate the need for surgical goals when no reports exist. 102, an improvement project did not reach its outcome in radiology. CPHQ should recommend A, review of statistical method use, B, review of clinical indicators use, or C, review of KPI indicators use.
Review of
An
clinical
improvement
indicators
project did
use.
not reach review of no D. What should be reviewed? It's the review of statistical method use. Okay, if the project failed, so meaning it did not reach the outcome. So if the project failed, review the methodology use. Okay, the statistical method use. 103, CPHQ found in X-ray no opportunity for improvement. A, review of statistical method use. B, review of clinical indicators use. C, review of KPI indicators use.
Statistical method.
No D.
No,
The answer here is,
X-ray, no opportunity.
What's your answer? The answer is review of KPI.
Indicators use.
It results show no variation or opportunity. So the KPI may be flawed or there is like mistakes. Okay, KPI may be or may have a mistake. KPI. Okay, CPHQ found in X-ray, so there is no opportunity for improvement. So review the KPI indicators used. Maybe there is something wrong in the indicator. Okay. But if the words are like this, did not reach its outcome, so you have to review the methods. So which is the statistical method. Okay. So but if there is no opportunity, so meaning review for the KPI. Okay, for 104, which of the following is not an appropriate red rule? A, when a midwife is concerned at the bedside and asks the obstetrician to come to the bedside, he or she should come in a timely manner. B, elective induction of labor prior to 39 weeks for non-medical reasons is not permitted. C, if there is a discrepancy in the sponge count during surgery, the patient should have an X-ray before leaving the operating room. Or D, nurses should observe the 5 rights of medication administration when administering any drug. It is not an appropriate red rule.
Okay, when the midwife is concerned at the bedside and asks obstetrician to come to the bedside.
No, D. The answer is nurses should observe the 5 rights of medication administration when administering any drug. This is a nurse's quality task, not a reason to call a physician urgently. So with these 3 choices here, A, B, C, D, ABC needs a physician, call urgently. It needs the attention of the physician to attend, okay? Except for letter D. Did you get it, D?
Yeah.
Okay, 105. The nurse was hanging an IV pump to the patient. However, the nurse was using the home-based IV tube that was taken from home. The serious incident was happened when the pump misplaced and inserted into incorrect tubing, causing death to the patient. The nurse denies that the tube was taken inside the delivery of care. The scenario is known example of A, incompetent nurse, B, near miss, C, unexpected event, D, human factor.
Human factor.
Yes, it's the human factor. Mismatch of tube and pump. It's a human factor error due to system failure. 106. The hospital leader decided to use technology in outpatient clinic in order to improve patient safety. Which of the following can reflect it? A, decrease or less oral communication with more on electronic. B, the staff unable to process. To next, unless double checks done by other staff using their login. C, decrease incident reported within the system. Or D, increase work around recorded using BCAS. Hospital leader decided to use technology in OPD in order to improve the patient safety. So which of the following can reflect it? Is it A, B, C, or D?
What is BCA?
BCAS, increase work around recorded using BCAS. I'm not sure of this BCAS. Okay. What is your guess here, D?
Within the system to the whole decrease less oral, which will be
BCAS.
Decrease less oral communication, more on electronic.
It's workaround. It's a BCAS is an electronic prescribing.
B.
Instead, okay. It is a type of electronic prescribing for the doctors. In the context of the workaround recordings or system documentation. So what's your answer here? Letter?
Yeah.
Letter A for you. It's
increase workaround using this.
Difference. I have 106.
Maybe
okay. Letter B is the answer. The staff unable to process to next. Unless double checks done by other staff using their login. So double check system reflects the implementation of safety improvement strategy. Double check because it's not clear actually. The staff unable to process. Yes, the statement is not clear. Decided to use technology in OPD. The staff unable to process to next.
Double checking.
A staff unable to process. The staff is unable to process complex steps unless double checked by another using login. So double checking system, this reflects the implementation of safety among these other choices.
But we are not doing outpatient clinic double check problems. What is that? There is no double
So the
check
hospital
system.
decided to use the technology,
Maybe. I don't know.
unable to process to next. Yes, okay, because the word here is the double checking. But this one is the word outpatient. This other stuff using there. It can be the because we are also using the system in the clinic also, right? So double checking also. Double checking
Double check for what?
is done by other staff using the logging in in their system to verify, for verification also. Because the rationale for this is to double check the double check system that reflects the implementation of a safety improvement strategy. It's an improvement or safety improvement strategy. So that is why this is the correct answer, because of the word double check the system that reflects this strategy. Okay, so this one, the answer D, huh? Letter B, the staff unable to process. So what to do next is to double check to be done by other staff using their login under their name, under their system. So if the nurse A cannot verify it, so it will be double checked by another nurse using her own system or login. Did you get the idea, D?
Okay.
Okay, so 107 now. Standard deviation useful in determining the A, difference between the hypothesized value and actual value. B, difference between the highest and lowest observed values. C, probability that a second event will occur. And D, variability of score in a distribution. So here, standard deviation. What's your answer, D? Letter?
D.
Letter D? Yes, this is the correct answer. So standard deviation is a statistical measure that describes how spread out the values are in a data set. It shows, you can still remember our normal D, the center, and here, in here, we have here the negatives, standard deviation, +1, and then here also standard deviation, -1, and here the +2, -2, and +3, -3. Okay, so this is the standard deviation. So how much scores deviate from the mean? So mean or median. So, okay, so the standard deviation is equals also the meaning of variability in the data. Okay, standard deviation is also equals to variability. Oh, okay. So that ends our revision 15D. Do you have any concerns, questions so far?
Okay, nothing now.